What is going on, guys? My name is Bucky Roberts, and welcome to your very first tutorial in MySQL. Now, in order to understand what exactly MySQL is, we first need to take a look at what a database is. Now, a database is pretty much a collection of data on a computer. Now, it isn't just a whole bunch of data packed into a file or randomly jammed onto your computer. It's organized in a very specific fashion. It's actually made up of something called tables. Now, each table is going to store similar information. Sounds pretty confusing? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at a quick example. Say you are making the website YouTube. Now, YouTube stores a bunch of information like usernames, passwords, links to videos, people's comments, favorites. They don't just want to store all of this information in random files. So what they decided to do is better organize this in tables. So instead of just taking all the information they need and throwing it randomly onto a file, they broke it up into a users table, videos table, and comments table. So as we can see, we can use tables to organize similar information. So now all of the users would go in this table, all of the videos in another table, all of the comments in a separate table, and now that you are separating specific in similar information, it just helps you organize your databases better. So now that isn't only the only way that we break up to organize data. We actually break up these tables in a very specific way as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. So tables, each individual table is made up of columns and rows. Now the columns are like categories and the rows are like each separate entry. So if you're saying, what the heck, columns and rows, kind of like a grid? Well, yes, it is kind of like a grid. Now, if we took a look at a table here, say I wanted to make a table to organize all of my friends. So I would have each column with a specific category. For example, the first column would be name. All of the items in this column would be the name. I would have another column or category, which would be age in this case. Now only ages go in here. And my last category for this example is profession. So again, as you can see, columns are kind of like categories. Now the rows are a little bit different because each individual entry goes on a separate row. The first entry I have is Bucky, who's 25, and his profession is a shepherd. Now, on the second one, like I said, each row is like an individual entry. So for Lisa's entry, it would be name, Lisa, age, 68, profession, magician. So as you can see, once we have each column with a separate category and each row is a separate entry, it could really help you identify and organize a bunch of data very specifically. Because then if you're saying, okay, how old is Ashley? Well, you know to go in the age category and you know to scroll down to Ashley, and where the two meet, that's the answer you're looking for. So instead of just scrolling through random data, breaking databases up into tables and then furthermore into columns and rows could really help organize your data in a very productive manner. So as we can see, say we wanted to make a huge database that was going to store all of the people in the United States. Well, whenever we were making a database, say we organize it like this, we would say, okay, database, look for a person named Bucky. And it would say, okay, I didn't find one. There are actually 6,000 people in the United States named Bucky. So you say, okay, what about a person named Ashley who is unemployed? And it says, okay, and think about this for a second. How many people named Ashley are unemployed in the United States right now? Probably 5,000, I'm guessing. Well, this isn't a really effective way to make a table because you can have a lot of duplicate entries. Even you can even have Ashley that's 21 and unemployed. There are probably a couple hundred of those. So instead of just making a table like this, what you need to use is a primary key. Now remember this, whenever you make a table in a database, you need to have a primary key, and that is a column that's guaranteed to be 100% unique. So basically, no entries or no rows can have the same primary key. So let's go ahead and take a look at this table with primary keys. So whenever you're making a website, aside from letting the user have a username, which may be the primary key, it's always good to assign them an ID number, or our primary keys in America are our social security number. No one else has our same social security number. So basically, whenever I'm saying, okay, find all the Buckies. Well, it may return 600, but if we say, okay, return the person with a primary key of 1, it's only going to return one result. And you can say to your database, okay, find all the Ashleys who are 21 and unemployed. Well, that may give you 500 results, but we only are looking for this Ashley. So instead, we would say, okay, find the member or find the person with the ID of 3. And that is why you use a primary key, because it's guaranteed to only return one result. So say this Ashley right here died and we needed to remove her from the database. Instead of saying, okay, remove Ashley from the database, which may remove 500 people, we just say, okay, remove the person with the ID of 3, and bam, we're good to go. We didn't screw up our database. So now, before I let you guys go, I want to cover one more thing. What is SQL? Because these tutorials are going to cover MySQL. SQL is the language that databases use. Now, we just can't say, shout into our computer, hey database, delete Ashley. It doesn't understand English. It needs to use a special language, and we'll look at that in a couple minutes. That's called SQL. Now, what MySQL is basically a program that understands SQL. Now, whenever we learn this SQL, we just can't open Notepad or Microsoft Office and start typing this in. It's not going to know what the heck this crap is. So instead, MySQL is the program that understands SQL. And also, there is other software aside from MySQL that can understand this language, but MySQL is the best. It's free, it's fast, and did I mention it's free? Oh yeah, it is. So anyways, there you go. There is your quick background on databases, tables, and SQL. So yes, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to be making a bunch of tutorials, so don't forget to check out the next tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.